The next step to eliminate a belief is to figure out when you formed it. Remember, a belief doesn't come from a single incident, but from many similar interactions. And when it's a very broad belief like mistakes and failure are bad, or a belief about oneself like I'm not important, it's always formed from experiences we've had with our parents when we were very young. Again, this is not to play the blame game with your parents. Most likely they did their best to bring you up as well as they could. Most parents love their children, but how many are aware that children are forming these kinds of beliefs as they grow up? If you answered not many, you'd be right. So most parents just don't realize the impact of their words and behavior on their children. And that's why most of us form negative beliefs from our interactions with our parents, even though that's not what they intended at all. Now, take a look at your early life and see where the belief I'm not important comes from for you. The events that lead to this belief are often very subtle and are so common that most people don't think they're a big deal, and they aren't necessarily painful. They're ordinary experiences that a child interprets in a negative way. Here's a way to understand why this belief is so common. What percentage of time do children want their parents' attention? Most parents we've talked to say it's somewhere around 90 to 100%. The exact figure is debatable, of course, but we know children tend to want more attention from their parents than they can possibly give. Here's what happened during a session with one client who was looking for the source of this belief. Suzanne discovered in our session that she believed I'm not important, but she had no idea what her parents could have said or done that led her to form this belief. They were good people, were very loving. So I asked her, what would happen when you wanted to talk to your parents when they were busy? She said, they tell me to wait or go play outside with my siblings or my friends. And sometimes if Mom had her hands full with a lot of stuff, she'd say, can't you see my hands are full? Okay, I said. So if Mom and Dad were busy, they'd tell you to do something else, and sometimes they might get annoyed if they were really busy. Yeah, that's right. Then I told her, let's think about what this means to a small child. Remember, a small child lives in a simple world of either or, black or white. In a child's world, you're either important or you're not. There is no in-between. Based on what you just told me, it seems like when your parents didn't respond the way you wanted them to, you might have felt that what they were focused on was more important than you. And if something is more important than you, in a child's black or white world, you aren't important at all. I never thought of that before, she said. But I realize now that that is how I concluded I'm not important. It's so odd how such simple things could lead me to forming that belief. I replied, I'm sure you can now see why this belief is so common. She looked puzzled. Definitely, but I have one question. How could a parent keep a belief like this from being formed? I mean, no parent can possibly stop what they're doing every time a child wants their attention. You're right, I said. Here's one method that we teach in our parenting courses that works for most people. Imagine you're on the phone and your child says, Mommy or Daddy, I want to show you something. Most parents just say, wait a few minutes, or can't you see I'm on the phone? But we know that if this happens often enough, it's likely to lead a child to a negative conclusion. So what do? Say to your child, I really want to hear what you have to say because it's very important to me. And right now I'm on the phone talking to someone, and I want to give them my full attention, just like I give you when I talk to you. So as soon as I get off the phone, I'll come get you, and you show me whatever you want to show me. Okay? Your child might still be impatient, or even unhappy that she can't speak with you now, but she won't conclude I'm not important. In fact, when you consistently keep your word after making this promise, your child will probably conclude, I'm very important, and I can count on people. Suzanne responded, well, my parents definitely didn't know how to do that. Neither did mine, I told her. Suzanne formed the belief I'm not important from very subtle experiences. Sometimes the experiences are not so subtle. Here are a few other possibilities. Did either or both of your parents work out of the house when you were a child, before the age of 6? Were one or both of your parents out of town a lot? Were they tired when they came home and then wanted to rest or watch TV? Any yes answers to these questions would give you an idea where this belief came from. Were they usually there when you wanted them to pay attention to you? If not, there's another clue. If your mom stayed at home with you, was she always busy taking care of the house? Did you have siblings that she had to spend a lot of time with? Even if your parents were physically present when you wanted them, were they usually emotionally present? Did you have a sense that they really listened to you? That what you said was important to them? Also, would they listen if you disagreed with them? Here, the answer in a great many families is, unfortunately, no. It may be more real to you now why it's so difficult to escape childhood without forming the belief, I'm not important. Isn't it? Now that you have an idea where this belief came from, please type into the text box on the screen the type of things your parents did and said in your childhood that led you to form the belief, I'm not important. Rather than writing down how you felt about it, describe the actual situations, what your parents actually said and did, such as, sometimes when I tried to talk to my parents, they told me they were busy, or Dad was working all the time and never home. Take the time you need because this is important. When you're done writing, click Continue. Now, the program will pause.